stadium lights, the free buzz before halftime. My heart racing like it's 4th and 5 on a Midwest Saturday night.
Welcome back to Mizzou Storytellers. It's been a while, but
It is.
I'm still Dave Matter.
I'm still Loretta Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We last time we were here, we had Mr. Kava.
Oh, that was so cool.
That was a great episode. Somebody in our department, it was Mr. Brad Luce, told me it was his favorite episode.
He told me that too. He
Yeah.
said it's the best one we've done so far.
Yeah, and I think he actually listens.
He does.
Besides just his own episode.
He actually, yeah, because he was the one who actually asked me when the Kava episode was going to go up because he had a couple road trips coming up and he wanted to listen to it.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's also listening to today's because we also have another excellent guest.
We do with, as we found out, Kava was a competitive hula dancer. Today's guest also has a fun special skill.
Yeah, something that you and I are probably not very good at, but I don't know. Maybe you are.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, let's find out more.
Tiger fans, say aloha to Hawaiian Bros, where the island-inspired flavors are positively delicious. You'll love favorites like huli huli chicken, luau pig, and the delectable Dole soft serve. Hawaiian Bros, just south of campus on Grindstone Parkway, or order at hawaiianbros.com.
She's a bison, she's a markswoman, she's a jack of all trades, and now she's a tiger. She's Katie Martinez, and she's today's guest on Mizzou Storytellers.
Way to go, Dave. That was great.
Did I do okay? There's not like a female bison,
no.
bisonette.
Not at
No.
all. Not at all.
Okay.
That sounded pretty good to
And
me.
Great.
I definitely looked up at his Mark's woman.
Markswoman. Well, of
Mhm.
course.
I've never even heard that, so I'm glad that it actually exists out
You need
there.
to add that to your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
on
there.
it right now.
Okay. Well, we skipped over what your title here at Mizzou Athletics, so let's get to that.
I am the assistant AD of student athlete development. So that boils down basically, I work with our student athletes of all sports every single day, career, leadership, community service. And then the fancy one is NIL education, which is just boiling down to personal branding and financial literacy.
Wow. So you don't have a lot of free time.
We do a lot of evening programming because that's when our student athletes are available. But I mean, I love sports, so I think that's our free time, right? We just go to sports. I loved the spring with baseball, it's going to those games, softball. So my free time is Mizzou Athletics.
Yes.
And that was where the jack of all trades comes in.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good writing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That actually was me.
From our writing staff, the writing room. So,
Yeah, let's just start from the beginning. I mean, this is Storytellers. We like to learn about you. Tell us a little bit about you and your family and where you came from.
Yeah, so I am originally from South Dakota. Every single time I say that, people are like, wow, I've never met anyone from South Dakota. Mount Rushmore region, Crazy Horse, that's my hometown. I graduated with 56 kids, so 3 stoplight town, very, very small. I did a few sports growing up, so volleyball, track and field. But then markswoman, I also shot Olympic sport pistol. So that was my sport. I did it through 4-H. Also, I lived on a ranch, so like very country bumpkin kind of girl. We would just go out in our pasture, shoot at logs, and then my dad was a police officer. So that kind of just really incorporated the spirit of firearm safety. Going to college, I went to North Dakota State where I shot on their pistol club team, and that just opened so many different doors. So went to the Olympic Training Center every year, competed for the junior Olympic team, and there's so many disciplines in pistol. So, I mean, I won't bore you with those details, but
oh, no, please do.
so that I have not shot since college though, so it's been a while. But then now I live obviously in Columbia, Missouri. I have 3 dogs. I have a fiance. Columbia's treated me really well. When I first moved to Columbia, I was like, the only thing it's missing is a Trader Joe's, and we're getting a
Oh,
Trader
it's
Joe's.
coming.
Getting one.
It's coming.
There you go.
So it's a
So
little
you-
bit about me.
You say that most people haven't met anybody from South Dakota. That was one of my first family vacations that we took.
Yeah.
Same.
So I've
Really?
been to Mount Rushmore.
Crazy
I've
Horse,
been to Wall
everything like
Drug.
that,
I've
yeah.
been to the Corn Palace. I've been to all the things.
Oh, family vacation with your current family
With-
or
no,
with
as
your
a
parents?
child,
Oh,
like,
as a child.
Road tripping in the early 90s. Like,
Wow.
actually, I don't even know if it was in the 90s yet. But yeah, like,
I remember going to Mount Rushmore and flipping out because is it called pyrite?
Yes.
The fake gold.
oh, yes.
It's like quartz there, like
Yes.
around there, and it was
Mhm.
like me and my brother. I was probably like 8, flipping out, like, "Mom, check this out! This is gold!" Like, no, it's not.
a lot of rocks, a lot of geology. Yeah, Mount Rushmore, I feel like it's not as big. You like get really excited, and then Crazy Horse, you can fit like 3 Mount Rushmores in the Crazy Horse size. I don't know when they'll finish, but I went to school with the family that was building Crazy Horse, so I thought that was pretty cool. Wall Drug is so funny because they advertise it through the whole entire state of South Dakota. We have a competition in South Dakota of West Side, Best Side. So I was West River, South Dakota, which it's the best side of South Dakota. Should have been West Dakota, East Dakota. That's really what they should have broke it down to. West Side has Black Hills, has Badlands, all of the good, beautiful stuff that people drive through the entire state to get to.
I will say I have not many people who have spent any amount of time in North Dakota. Like, what was that draw, and how would you sell that to someone like me?
Yeah, so I have family connections from there. My parents met, and they were from North Dakota, Minnesota, and so they met at the horse stables. They fell in love. We're really into horses. My mom was a farmer family. My dad, when they moved to Minnesota, because he's originally from Texas, they worked in the sugar beet fields. So I guess that was my draw of like, ooh, I want to be around family. There's not a lot going on. It's pretty cold up there, 30-mile-per-hour wind chills in the winter. The people are so nice, though. The accent's cute. We got some good food up there. It was just, I don't know, it was a unique experience. My parents, like, they moved away from North Dakota to get more action, more environment. So I think they were like, you're really going to go back there? Anywhere else in this world, and you want to go back to North Dakota? And I was like, yep, my heart's set. I really want to go and shoot pistol with that team. So
I feel like that speaks a lot to what North Dakota's like if you moved away for the happening action of South Dakota.
very true.
Is there a big rivalry? Do like North Dakotians look down on South Dakotans, or the other way around?
I feel like North Dakota's more like competitive against South Dakota, and especially the state schools, NDSU versus SCSU, the Jackrabbits versus Bison. Every year when we'd play, like the presidents would joke and say like, "You will win Bison meat if you beat us," or I don't know what the rabbits did, but I think they had
Rabbits
a
do.
creamery.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Yeah, they did not get jackrabbit meat, but it was always like a creamery, I think, at South Dakota State. So that was a little quirk. But we were probably 5 hours away from the Canadian border at NDSU, so I never went up to Canada very often, but the option was there. It was more or less you're going to Minnesota for the lakes.
Okay.
Always want to
Okay.
go in the summertime, explore
Not
the
to
lakes.
Canada for the fries and gravy.
The poutine?
Yeah.
No. Hockey, maybe, but I even wasn't a big hockey fan.
So you went to North Dakota State specifically to shoot?
Yeah.
Is that a
and
scholarship?
so you got like a little scholarship. Our
Yeah.
club, so being a club sport, you did a lot of fundraising yourself,
Okay.
awareness yourself. It was registered as a student org, so you had people that were experienced. Our coach was the junior Olympic coach.
Oh, wow.
So he was really, really great. He was able to talk to like a few of the other people. There was a girl from Pennsylvania, a kid from Missouri, a girl from Montana, and they all came just to shoot pistol. And so you would have those competitors, but since it was a club sport, you also had people that would come that never shot a pistol in
really?
their life. So like we know firearm safety and we know how to shoot at the target, and then you'll have somebody who is shooting when they're practicing and hit the wall. And
Yeah.
so like it's just a dynamic. It was so fun though. Since it was a club, we didn't fly places, we drove places. So it was like 30-hour car rides, a lot of bonding. I was always the talker, and so at some point they would tell me I'd have to shut up in the back seat. I drove once on the way. That's also another thing about club sports. They're like, oh, you athlete, you go ahead drive. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. Coach fell asleep. I took the wrong exit, and we went like extra 5 hours on the way back to home. So they never let me really drive after that again. But it was just an experience. You can't forget those memories forever.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So what was it like, that being your sport? Is it like, what drew you to that? And then just like, is the goal the Olympics?
Yeah, I think so. What drew me was, again, like kind of the small country town. My dad was really into guns and like that firearm safety, that police officer aspect. And then it was just like the levels that you can go. So 4-H, it has its own sector, and then we would do USA shooting a lot. So you would drive a couple hours and go shoot against some of these other folks that are representing South Dakota. And there's different disciplines. So we have air pistol, so that's like a pellet gun, and it's 10-meter range, and you shoot one-handed. So the Turkish pistol shooter.
Oh, this came up the other
that-
night at dinner.
Oh.
So that was me. So he has special glasses, he has special shoes, and you're just shooting one-handed at a target. And then you have small bore that has a couple different unique styles of shooting. So like sport pistol, the target flips and it like shows the side of it, and then it'll flip for 5 seconds, and you have to be at the ready and then pull up and then shoot. So within that amount of time accurately. Then you have like 5 shots, 20 seconds, and then you have longer ranges. So I got to really explore more of those styles in college. I really wanted to go as far, like I think about it now of like, oh, maybe just one summer I want to practice and see where I get to compete. Like I think it would be fun again, but also the equipment's really expensive. Like those guns are $3,000 like guns, and it's special ammo because you can't just be shooting anything special. Like just it's pretty intense. A lot of people can get really into it. But it was cool because it taught you discipline. You had to have a shot plan, very comparable to golf. If I was to compare it to a sport, so you want to like just have consistency. If you have a bad shot, like pull to the right, like you have to zone in. The scoring is so like 9.1, 9.2, like it can get to that point of if you just even miss it a little bit, you're kind of done in the competition. They even have finals where they'll like do 3 shots and then they'll sit down the 2 lowest scores and kind of just make it more of a spectator sport at the time. That's they're thinking of ways, how can we make this more engaging for fans?
Why the special shoes?
So yeah, they either
Just been thinking, I'm like,
Yeah.
you're like, you have a special glasses, that track, special
Yeah.
shoes. Wait, what? And then you moved on to the next discipline. I'm like, no, I need more.
it needs like to be flat, the surface, so your body's not swaying, and then the material on the bottom is like it's no flex to it, and so that's you're looking for kind of like a special weighted, and so like you could even wear Air Forces. Like you see some rising shooters use like just flat street shoes, but the more equipment that you have, the better
Do
the
you
accuracy.
own some of these shoes?
I didn't. My club did.
Oh.
So I know they look like bowling shoes, but a little like kind
Cool,
of
but
like
cooler?
Vans. Yeah. So they're puffy.
Did our guy Yusuf? Did he have like his own brand? This is the turkey shooter.
Yeah.
He came
Yeah.
up at dinner the other night. Coach Gates asked Katie if that's the same realm that she was in. That the,
Yeah. I don't know if he has his own brand. I think
Should.
I think it would be cool. I loved how he kind of went viral because then that was a point of reference of like I can bring this up and people will know
Yes.
what I'm actually talking about.
It finally happened. People
Yes.
will know. They'll get it.
Exactly. I wasn't just some country bumpkin shooting at squirrels in a tree anymore. I was like an actual cool like athlete.
Hey,
that
you
people
shot
could
at
know.
logs.
Yeah, shot at logs, shot at everything. Very just country.
Oh, man. Okay.
Caffeine. You also couldn't drink caffeine because that would make you shoot.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, sugar on trips. They would like that we would wait till the end of competition to go get ice cream as a team. So you had to be careful on what you're consuming.
It
Yeah.
sounds like I could do this.
Yeah, I think
find
we
out.
should. There's
find
even
out.
rifle. You see at like Memphis, Kentucky, they have rifle, and so I mean we could just all do staff bonding and go to one of those schools.
I've shot a gun once in my life at a range.
How'd
for
that go?
It happened.
Yeah.
I don't. I hit the target. Like
No one was hurt.
No, nobody was hurt. It was at a range. It was when I was in J school. You know, like you know, like how you'd go like shoot for like not guns.
I missed that day.
But you'd shoot, like if like one of your friends was doing a story for class,
Oh,
like
okay.
you'd go and be like their camera person and like vice versa. And so one of my buddies did that, and I shot a gun, scared out of my mind the whole time. I kept asking about kickback, and he just kept laughing at me. And I'm like, no, it's a real thing. He's like, not with that gun, it's not.
Yeah, I think they have like women's nights at a couple ranges. I think there's a range in Jeff City. But yeah, people, it's kind of scary. Yeah, if you don't know or if you never
Yeah.
shot a gun, you have no idea. You just see what you've seen on TV or what your family's told you if they're hunters.
Yeah.
They're like, it's gonna kick.
Yeah. So it's not something you do now, just like recreationally.
No, but I think maybe this summer I might try like a women's night or something. Just to heck, might as well.
Just show off. Just show up and like kind of like maybe make it a competition. and be
Yeah.
like, hey, what's this thing? And then all
Just
of a sudden
go,
you're
just go to the range and
dominating.
just hustle people.
Yeah. You're like, like, where's the trigger? How do I take the safety
Like
off?
show up in one of your like cute dresses you wear
Yeah.
to work.
Where does the bullet
That
come
sounded
out?
like fun.
Yeah. And just pick it up one-handed. Boom.
Yeah.
10.
Bust out your special glasses.
Yeah.
Your shoes,
Yeah.
your Air Yusufs.
Hey.
Air uses. Yes.
Trademark that
Do you
right
wear
now.
do you wear a holster? Like, can you bring that?
No, you don't wear a holster.
That would put you off balance.
Yeah.
It would. It would. Unless you have both, like a cowboy.
Yeah, you put your hand
Double-
in your
double
pocket.
barrel, yeah.
No double, Dave.
We're not making fun. I just think it's awesome.
No,
I don't know
no.
anybody else
I
who's
think it
ever
is
done
cool.
this. Yeah.
I think we could. Yeah.
All right.
We'll figure out something.
So while at North Dakota State, you shot lots of guns. That was very cool. How did you decide there that you wanted to get into athletics as a profession? Like, where did your interest spark?
Yeah, so I was criminal justice, which has nothing to do with sports or higher education. And I started in higher education as an RA. And so housing and residence life. And then it was really my senior year, our dean of student affairs, he's like, come have coffee with me. And he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know, maybe juvenile probation. And he's like, no, I think you should do higher education. I was like, really? Are you sure? And so that kind of convinced me to go to grad school, do a GA-ship. So I went to Old Dominion after North Dakota State. But also at North Dakota State, I was, in the beginning years, a men's basketball manager. So I was like the person who ran the scoreboard and did the points at practice when he's like, put this on the shot clock. That was my job. So that was really kind of just the taste. I loved sports and wanted to get into it any way I can. North Dakota State has a pretty good football team, so
Yeah.
I think that helped a little bit. We would always you waste a whole day, no matter at what time the game starts. You're standing in line really, really early just to get into the dome, and I thought that was really cool. When I went to Old Dominion, started in housing again just for a year, but then transitioned to student conduct and then had a couple athletics internships on the side. Loved golf too. Growing up, I worked at a golf course. In grad school, I worked at a golf course, helped the pro shop, and loved kind of some of the aspect of that. But then when I got into student services as internships, I liked working with at-risk students, helping them like school, because I was a nerd. I loved school. I loved studying. I loved writing papers. I just thought it was so fun. And then just getting some of that experience of encouraging people that they are doing a good job, because sometimes the athletes that I worked with, they didn't like school. And so I think that moment of flip of like, I can encourage somebody was really impactful for me. So Norfolk State, I was able to get an internship in. And so that they literally threw you in the fire. And since I was working kind of like 2 other jobs on the side, I was like, I can open study hall at 8 a.m. And so I was in the office opening study hall, and then I was like, I can come back at the evening program at 6 p.m. And so you just kind of do and get as much experience as possible. And they loved some of those things. I even remember homecoming. They're like, our facilities person needs help. Do you want to come set up stuff at 5 a.m.? And I was like, sure, this sounds exciting. And then they gave me my first equipment. It was like not shoes that didn't even fit me, but they're like, do you want this? And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, I feel such a part of the team. So I just like the camaraderie, but then the non-traditional hours of like, you're going to show up and do work and be able to contribute to a team. I think that was really something that also caught my eye.
Mm-hmm. So you're over there in Virginia at Norfolk State, and then Old Dominion. They're both in Norfolk, right?
Yeah, they're like right across the road from each
Yeah.
other. So they're like, they try to sell you that it's the beach, but it's like 30 minutes away from the beach.
Yeah.
So yeah, Old Dominion was where I was studying, and then Norfolk State was an internship, and then I bounced back to Old Dominion my last semester and did some athletic stuff there.
Mhm. And from there, you get the opportunity to go back to the Dakotas.
Yeah, so it took a little bit to kind of find my first job right out of grad
Uh-huh.
school, just always trying to look and apply, and then one opened up at North Dakota. No one wants to go back to North Dakota.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. They're like, well, we had some people, but I think the cold shocked them. I interviewed in February. No kidding. The cold shocked them. But then I was like, I know the North Dakota system. I can advise. And then even a mid-major school, they let you really do and craft your whatever your interests are. So I was able to do a little bit of student athlete development, a lot of learning specialist stuff there because I had and was immediately coming from that background, and then advising for some teams.
Mm-hmm.
So North Dakota was fun. Like, I learned more about hockey. I didn't know a single thing about hockey. Do either of you follow hockey
Sure.
pretty well?
Yeah.
St. Louis Blues, I guess that's the closest thing. Oh, you're a hockey fan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Sioux, Fighting Sioux.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No, they're a storied program for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was able to do like stats. Like when you're in your first entry level job, they know that you don't make a lot of money, so they're always like, "Hey, you want to come run stats and make some extra money?" So it's like whenever they scored a point, I would have to report who scored the point and who was on the ice when they scored the
Oh
point.
my gosh.
So, and then I was able to do libero tracking for volleyball at North Dakota, which they had a good volleyball program, so they had like we're standing on a legacy, but they were always just trying to get a little bit better. So that was cool.
I think you're talking like you want to be in Stratcom. It sounds like.
Maybe.
Come on.
I like serving student athletes.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the list, like in case we need some stats people.
Yeah, maybe a long list.
I'm trying to link it up, but the football coach, was it Bubba Schweigert?
Yes. Oh, Bubba
Yeah.
was a joy.
Yeah, I worked with him at Southern Illinois University. So
That's awesome. He is now, I think, in the administration side there.
He's retired. He's a really good guy.
When I was at UND, there was one day a student like texted me and said, "There's a moose on the loose." I'm not kidding you. I was like, "There's a moose on the loose." They took a picture and there was this moose running around Grand. I was like, I didn't even know we had moose nearby. Where'd this moose come from? They trapped it in our like football practice stadium.
Really?
Yes. It was just the craziest thing. I was like, you can't make this stuff up. South Dakota
No.
had buffalo. And we just had moose in North
Wow.
Dakota.
Did you
Sounds
keep
like-
them?
I don't know
a
what
pet?
they did, how they got him out.
That sounds like a
But-
bumper sticker or
Yeah.
a license plate
Moose
slogan.
on the loose.
Welcome to North Dakota. Moose on the loose.
Lord,
That's
but
great.
never a dull day.
Yeah. Have you noticed that every episode becomes 6 degrees?
Back to an idea of like, I loved the city when I was in Norfolk. And so, like, trying to get more experience in some of those types of city. Memphis opened up, and I was like, should I apply this to one of my friends who's a rifle coach at Georgia Southern? He's like, I love Memphis. I was like, okay. And it was COVID during that time, and so I interviewed virtually, and then they called me back like 10 minutes later. They're like, hey, so do you need to come see campus? And at that point I was like, no, I just really want to come. And they're like, okay, we're going to send you the contract. And so I never saw the school. I just drove down there. And so when I pulled up to Memphis, I was like, what's this shiny pyramid like in the distance? It's a Bass Pro Shop. Have you
Yeah.
seen this?
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
There's like live animals in there. And so that was the first thing. I was just driving across the bridge and I see a Bass Pro Shop. And then the food's amazing though. Like, and also this Memphis, the university's just in the heart of like the city. And so
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. You could get to many different places. Beale Street, a lot of history, a lot of great music. I
Yeah.
ate on Beale Street like one of the first nights that I moved there. Just want BB King's, and
Yeah.
so I thought
Great.
that was cool. The FedEx Forum's right downtown, so never had an NBA team in a city that I've lived. So I love Ja, like just seeing his performance and some of those athletes was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, and then you worked for a minute with the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah, so when you at Memphis, they pay for classes that you take, and so I was able to enroll in a class that was with the Memphis Grizzlies, and so we worked all of the ticket sales, so that was premium spaces, client services. So I was really able to shadow like an opener for an NBA team, and then work a couple different games of networking with some of those practitioners, and it was just. You got like some of the inside scoop of behind the scenes of what are they tracking, what does their day-to-day look like, which helped me also educate student athletes if they want to work in pro sports, like here are some of the avenues and what that could look like for you. So I just love being around basketball, and it was a good place to do it.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, jack of all trades. It's like I just look like as we look through your resume and everything, just the amount of different areas
Yeah.
of higher education that you've worked in is pretty tremendous.
Yeah, golf, basketball, and then academics, and then I shifted over to student athlete development, and I think that was when I loved academics because you get to talk to all of the student athletes from at risk to like those that are academically excelling and help them get to their next step too. But student athlete development really dug into the storytelling of our students and really able to see and capture the excellence that they're doing, not only inside their sports, but outside of their sports. And we just athletics in general, we have such great athletes that want to go do good. And they'll show up every single day, wake up at 6 and then go practice, go training, go to class, and then go do community service on the side. I think that just speaks to their hunger and their drive to make an impact. So I loved being that in Memphis, and there were so many opportunities to get involved and see what our students were capable of.
So then you come here in January 23.
Yeah.
What about this opportunity was appealing to you? How'd that process
Well,
go?
I was on our hiring committee.
Oh, were you?
Oh my
that's-
gosh.
Congratulations.
I forgot.
That was why.
Good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel at the time, she reached out to me about an opening, and she got my name from one of my mentors who works at Kentucky, and they just were looking for a couple emerging professionals in student athlete development that would be a good fit. And she's like, "Do you want to come to Missouri?" I was like, let's check it out. Let's see what's going on. And I think what really caught my eye was one, like, of course, being an SEC school, but then there's a lot of excellence that comes from Missouri and like seeing where some of the people that touched Missouri, where they were now. Laird, my AD at the time at Memphis, he had gone to Missouri. And so there was just like really odd ties, and it just felt right when I stepped on campus here. I like the grit. I love the building, like that idea of we want to be excellent. And I think that just really sold it. Loretta also drove me
Obviously.
to the arena from the Matsy, and I was like, yeah, I want to work with this woman. She's great.
We both like escape rooms.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
like
yeah.
puzzles.
Loretta,
Yes.
your
Puzzles.
memory's sharp. I forgot about that. It's the little things.
It was funny.
No.
We were at dinner the other night down in Destin at SEC meetings, and I think it was Coach Harper. She was just asking Katie about her background, like, "Oh, where did you work before here?" And she said, "I was at Memphis." And so she made the logical step was she's like, "Oh, you followed Laird here." And Laird's like, "No, I followed Katie to Missouri."
Yeah, it was so weird. So it was me, and then Blair came, and then Laird came, and we're like, we're bringing the band back together. This is exactly what we need. So it's really cool to see. Just, I don't know, it's great to have friends that you've known at other stops. It just shows how small this field really is.
Well, and you and I have worked pretty closely together since you got here,
Yes.
just because of the nature of our areas with when you were just career development
Yeah.
and then with the letter winners. But geez, in 2.5 years, like, I watched your job evolve and change and
Yeah.
transition. So what's been the hardest part of that transition? But then on the flip side, what do you feel has been most rewarding?
Yeah, I think no matter what, it's like remaining adaptable in the different transitions with student athlete development. When I came, it was really, my area was honed in on NIL education with a professional and then career development. And so kind of we created and trademarked, we created this word called Momentum Institute, and that was supposed to be our centralized hub for our student athlete development. And just with transitions of staff, we also now included community service, leadership. And so while serving our students, that priority's never gone away. It's what are the opportunities that we are facilitating as the Momentum Institute to get in front of our student athletes. Most rewarding is just the breadth of the connections that we can give to them. I think now that we're also community service beyond like career is an advantage to us because you can connect the dots so much. The number one priority for the Momentum Institute is getting people in front of our student athletes and networking, because networking gets jobs, which is why we work so well together, because making the commonality point of, hey, I see you played at Mizzou. Do you want to talk to a current volleyball player that's interested in graphic design? And then medical sales is very, very popular among our student athletes, and we have a lot of alumni that are in medical sales. So I think it's just the 1 degree separation that we were talking about a little bit earlier. It's totally real of we want people just to connect and pour back, and that meaningful moment that they had here, our student athletes are hungry to learn. They get also confidence building business. Sometimes they don't feel they're qualified to just go get a full-time job, and it's like, well, you are. You're working a full-time every day. Time management, communication, that hard work ethic is very appealing to employers. So I just love being able to connect the dots and get opportunities for our athletes.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants. Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations in Southwest and downtown Columbia and features over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers and, of course, their famous Nachos Bianco. So remember, before or after the game, stop by Addison's.
Well, and creating that legacy, I think that like when you started, it's like, how can we connect our alumni to our current student athletes more than they already are?
Yeah.
And doing some mentorship, doing some career contact, just doing some events where they got to network, so that then when they leave, and we've even had a couple in the couple years you've been here that now they come and help at the career fair at the letter winners booth.
Yes.
You know, that they just graduated in the last year or two, and then they are that person that everybody recognizes. They're like, oh, hey, Katie, oh my gosh, I swam with Katie, or I ran with Katie. And so it's like, yeah, you need to join this. You need to do this. This is how you can give back when you graduate. And they're like, oh, that's really cool. And it's been really awesome, like since you got here, being able to make that connection.
Yeah. Alan Waters, who did we connect him with?
Oh man, you put me on the spot.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, I think it was Carol. Yes, it was Carol, former volleyball player from the early 80s.
Yeah.
Down in Houston, Texas, because he wanted to move to Texas because that's where his girlfriend was. He wanted to move to Houston.
Yep.
And he wanted to be a teacher. And we connected them just because geographically it was the same place. She found him connections, helped him get a job. They still hang out. They send us photos.
Yes.
Alan just got assistant wrestling coach of the year for 6A in Texas.
Yes. And the connection, because Loretta and I created this mentorship program, like we wanted to be really intentional with the pairings, and that was just an outcome when we were facilitating the program. And she just sends us news clippings of Alan, and it's just like a proud
because she
moment.
keeps in touch with him.
Yes.
Yeah. I've had quite a few alumni reach out and ask when we're going to do that again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can, absolutely. The opportunity's there. We do a lot of programming where we're just trying to get that experiential learning for our athletes. So it's just, I don't think we have to do everything every semester. I think we can like space it out a few years, because then you get a new cycle of people wanting to connect.
Yeah.
Well, I know there are no average days in college athletics, but what is an average day like for you, minus the meetings that we all sit in?
Yeah.
But like, what are you doing on a daily basis to really be that resource for our student athletes?
Yeah, the Momentum Institute, we have 2 graduate assistants that help us with that mission of serving our student athletes. And we really prioritize like the individual appointments. And so we do a lot of the resume, the cover letter, the mock interview prep, data tracking. We love doing surveys after programming to see where our student athletes, if they agreed with it, what the skills they learned, so then we can do the end of the year reporting. So when I'm not meeting with students, it's really planning for the next program. There's times where I was like, oh man, I really don't know if I like event planning, but it just comes naturally with the job.
Yeah.
We plan, like even with Loretta, we collaborate on our end of the year ceremony. So we're inviting all of our 550 student athletes, all of our staff, to this one event to celebrate our student athletes' depth from this past year. But then also I do a welcome back event. And then this summer you might think is slow, but I feel like we have around like 60% of our student athletes back on campus here training. So how are we engaging them, giving them some skills, whether it's community service, so going to sites, planning sites, or even just large-scale community building activities. So are we going to do student-athlete yoga and get people they're new to the area, they haven't done cross-team collaborations or networking yet? Just you want to create that sense of belonging. So it's a lot of planning. Sport rotational program we do in summers too. So those interested in sports, we give them some time to shadow and rotate through different areas in the athletics department, which has been really rewarding. A lot of people have found what they want to do as a career from that program. So a lot of planning, Dave.
A lot of planning.
A lot of
So
planning.
is a question for you, like doing all this day to day with the current student athletes, you know, as athletics is unintentionally becoming more compartmentalized, you know, like football has all of their own facilities, they're there. Basketball has all of their own facilities, they're there. How hard is it to do that intentional inter-sport collaboration? Because I remember like growing up, like in college as an athlete, like you saw everybody in the dining hall and you saw everybody in the weight room, and now all of these different sports have their own spaces. Now they have, you know, there's a weight room here in Hearns that volleyball and wrestling use, and you know, basketball has their own, football has their own. Like, how do you find it more difficult to do that intentional cross sport collaboration and interaction?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if like difficult's the right word, because also it's reported from our student athletes that they want more opportunities to engage with each other, and they have identified that it's important. We have a student athlete advisory committee, and they meet every other week, and the executive team comes up with what's their mission for the year, and that has been one that since I've taken over it is they want more engagement across sports. And so we do a couple like large scale programming where we then put it on the student athletes of, hey, if you want to do this, you need to recruit people to come to this.
Yeah.
We'll do unique things of like you get bonus points because they do points towards this bragging rights Tiger Cup type of competition.
Well, they're athletes. That's
they're-
how they're driven.
They just want to always compete, which I
Yes.
just love. It helps us. So, like, if we have trivia night, say volleyball, you get extra points if you partner with wrestling. And so they even said that we were DMing some wrestlers. Some of them ignored us, but we got our team together. So it's just like little things like that. I will say though, last year our freshman class, they were so sociable. We saw gymnastics hanging out with men's golf, and so it's just they're hungry for connections, and I think since COVID, we're starting to get out of some of those silos. I think that also compartmentalized us a little bit more because we want to just be careful. But our athletes, they want to socialize. And so community service also. We have an app that's available for all of our student athletes just to log in and go sign up for something. So you'll see multiple sports at Special Olympics, and they're all they're all interacting. So they all know they're athletes, and they can all connect with that.
It's cool.
For the record, women's swimming and diving won the Tiger Cup this year. So
yes.
shout out to my swim team.
Good job, Dave.
Yeah.
They're very competitive. That's the one thing. Women's swim, I don't know how they do it, but they're always out in the community together. I guess at the beginning of the year, that was their goal. They're like, we're going to win Tiger Cup. And sometimes people say that just to be competitive,
Right.
but they meant it. And so whenever we had an etiquette dinner, they all showed up to this etiquette dinner. So it was very women's swim heavy. But I loved getting to know them through these things. They also get points for interacting with our services. So a lot of resume building with that whole team, which then creates a cool resume book. But yeah, they were just hungry.
Highest GPA of any women's swim team in the country.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yes.
He's such a proud sport admin.
He is.
I am.
Women's soccer's out to get them though, because
Yeah,
they want
and
to
neck.
win next year.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Are we on to our
I think so.
burning questions?
I think we're ready.
Okay. How are we doing these?
I'll do odds.
Okay.
I'll
These
do- you
are
know what?
rapid
I'll
fire
do-
questions.
I'll do 1 and 3. I'm gonna let Steve do number 5
Okay,
because he came up with it. He came up with it earlier.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Real quick though, big shout out to the etiquette dinner, because when I was a student athlete, I'm Italian. I ate spaghetti my whole life. That when I was a junior in college is the first time I learned to use a spoon with a fork at my athletic department etiquette dinner.
Yeah.
Wow.
They learn so many skills just from, I don't know. It's just so interesting. Like, because how are you supposed to scoop the soup towards you? Like, do you slurp the soup? And then they were like, what if I'm a fast eater? Is that inappropriate if I finish my food before anybody else? And I'm like, these are great questions because I'm a fast eater and I might finish my food before anybody else. But no.
Salt and pepper always get passed together.
To the right.
Sorry to derail, but that's stuck with me for 20
Yeah.
years.
As a
I'm
coach,
glad they
at a
still
coach
do
at a
that,
small
yeah.
school, we would do an etiquette dinner for all of athletics, and I went every year
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I wanted to learn all this stuff. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like, I'm somebody who gets. I mean, literally, I will get a steak and I'll just like cut the whole thing up like I'm a child, so I have pieces. That way, I can just like eat and talk and
Yeah.
enjoy. And they're like, yeah, don't do that. Like, don't do that.
You always learn something new, no matter what.
Anywho, so speaking of food, okay, so rapid fire.
'Kay.
We just have 5 questions, just like quick answer, first thing that comes to your head. Okay. First one is your favorite meal in Colombia. Not restaurant, but like a meal.
I will do anything that's Mexican. I love Mexican food. Anything taco, beans, rice. That's me all over.
Okay, so where are you going?
Okay, also nice little jalapeno margarita. Like pair those
Oh, there you go.
together. That sold. I don't know. I don't know if I like trying new things. So I will always try a new restaurant as much as possible. I tried a food truck, a taco food truck the other day, and it was really great. I lived really close to a Margaritas when I first moved to Columbia, so that was just naturally I'll just go there. But I'm open.
Okay.
Do you have a specific taco place?
I like Don Ponchos.
I do too. No one else in my family likes it, so
I like Don
I have to go there by
Ponchos.
myself.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We'll have to podcast
The
date
queso,
night, yeah.
or do you get chips and salsa? What do you
Everything.
get?
I haven't had anything there I didn't like.
Oh
Yeah.
really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put that on the list.
Okay. Best advice you have ever been given?
There's no traffic when you stay in your own lane.
Ooh.
And so I feel, yeah,
Heard that one
there's
before.
times where like you can get really stressed out about what is somebody doing over there, over here. But if you're just focusing on doing your job really, really well, you can't mess up there.
Can I get that on a poster and put it in our office?
I just typed it so I will not forget this.
Yes. It's, yes.
Now, who gave you that advice?
So Dr. Lacey Carmen Johnson, she is player development for the Toronto Raptors. So she is just, that's something she always continuously says. And so I just think there's time, especially now, like everyone wants to be doing everything, but we can just be really good also at communicating what we're doing. That's really going to help.
Yeah.
So it's going to just really paint your frame of reference.
Love it.
I love that so
Love
much.
it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bucket list vacation spot.
Oh my goodness. I just love the beach. And so part of me wants to say that like someplace I've already been, but that wouldn't be fun. That's not like a bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really like I miss Virginia Beach because of the beach, and like I had all my places that I go get coffee and then go to the beach. Like that's just great. Okay. But then international, maybe Greece. That water looks
okay.
beautiful and like it just seems fun. I've just never been. Yeah, anything with water.
Would you go solo for some downtime or take Mr. Katie?
Absolutely not. Lucas has to come with me because I am not a really good traveler by myself. I went international once, and it was to London. I went through an organization to tour sport universities over in Europe, and I got there by myself, and I almost left my passport in one of the public transportations, and that was just like, at this point, I was like, no one loops me because somebody's gonna just come by, sweep me, and then take me off somewhere. So Lucas will need to be coming with
I'm
me.
gonna send Liam Neeson after Katie
Yes.
Martinez.
Exactly. Directionally
I have a set of
challenged.
skills.
Lord.
Speaking of skills, okay. Favorite gun to shoot?
Oh my goodness.
Who came up with this question?
I assumed you did.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, great question.
Like it magically showed up.
I don't know. I feel like, so again, growing up country, like I would hunt, like, and do like turkey, deer, all that stuff. But I really just loved shooting in college and competitively, and so they're called Pardinis, and so it was the Sport 22 small bore. It was a Pardini, and it would the grip was perfect for my hand. Like they modified the grip, and so it was very customized. It had no like kick. It was smooth, barely any sound. So I guess that would be my gun because I know I can shoot really good with
Katie's assassination weapon.
She's like the
Yes.
John Wick of
it.
Mizzou Athletics.
Exactly.
I was visualizing it.
I know.
I
How to
have no idea what it
explain
looks
it.
like.
Pulling it out of
Oh
my
my
boot.
God. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, last one. It's almost June when we're recording this, which means summer is right around the corner. What is your favorite thing to do during the summertime?
Okay, so one, I also just bought a house in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so I live near Lake of the Woods golf course. But there's like little things right now that I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love mowing my yard. Like they're like who says that? That's like a new homeowner thing of like, I just love this. This is so fun. But then also golfing. So Lake of the Woods has been really fun. I love coffee, and so like just going anywhere and getting some coffee and then sitting outside of the coffee shop and just hearing the birds chirp. I don't know, something like that.
Thinking of what gun you could use to shoot them.
No, just romanticizing
Pardini,
Columbia.
or whatever it was.
Hey, if I had that gun, I
Y'all.
could take that thing out right now.
You all are so funny. I cannot, absolutely not. Lord.
Great answer. Okay. Pass along this photo. I did not do a very good job with the photo this week.
Dave's
It's
new to the
okay.
laminator.
I'm not new to the laminator. I didn't let it warm
I'm trying
up.
to help you out.
I know.
Lord.
I've done a fair job with the rest.
Okay.
Then you got to show them in the camera too.
Oh, show my picture to the camera. This is just my recent headshot.
It
So
is.
great job, Dave.
I went recent. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anywhere?
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Don't be afraid of covering people up because the board's getting small.
Whoa.
And it's very delicate,
Okay.
so be careful.
I feel like
No one has knocked it down.
Like you would handle the Bardini.
Did it come off?
I'm gonna be close to Josh. Where's Josh? Oh, is he?
Josh.
Good job, Josh. I love Josh's. Thank you. This has been so fun.
See, she asked me the other day when I asked her if she wanted to come on. She's like, "How do I prepare?" I'm like, "Don't.
Just wing it.
Don't prepare."
I think she's the first guest that's come in with her laptop open. Do you have notes on there?
I have our Momentum Institute recaps in case I wanted to pull some like that data.
How about that?
I love some of
Aw.
the data. So like our satisfaction, we had over 7,600 hours of community service. Like you know what I mean?
Jeez.
Drop some of those things,
Yeah.
but I didn't use it very
Subtly.
well.
She also
Sorry.
the power move with the 2 phones sitting out.
I-
How about that?
I know.
Well, guess what? No one texted me, so
Well.
I'm not that important. I just need one then. Lord.
Well, Katie, this was a lot of fun. You do so many
Yeah,
great
thank
things
you.
here, and it's been fun to get to know you and work alongside you. And this is glad we could have you over here.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you all for doing Mizzou storytelling.
That's our job.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. All right.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Shelter Insurance. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Katie Martinez.
What a gal.
What a gal.
What
yeah.
a gal.
Is gal okay? Can we say gal?
I think so.
I thought that word was kind of not canceled, but it's kind of
What a lady.
what a lady. She is. She's really. That sounded weird.
I mean, what else do we say? What an amazing
What a
person.
colleague.
Yes, what a colleague.
Incredible woman. There you
Yes.
go.
Oh, yeah.
I knew about the shooting stuff just from her bio when I first started working here, but I'm like I didn't really know the extent of it, so I was kind of nervous. I didn't want to come off like we were poking fun.
No,
I think
have
it's
you,
really
have
cool.
have you been in her new office? Like she transitioned to that larger office
Yeah.
over in the
Mhm.
Matsy?
Yeah.
So she's got a bunch of, like, when it's really kind of funny to me, like when you do races and you get the race bibs.
Oh, yeah.
The shooters, they wear
Yes.
shooting bibs.
Yeah.
And so she's got some of those up. She's got like bracelets. She's got pictures and certificates. And
Yeah.
yeah, if I were a student athlete, I'd be scared.
She like have some bullseyes up. You don't want to be on her bullseye.
Yeah, like the black silhouette targets.
Yes.
Bunch of stuff through the heart. Like
Yeah.
that.
Somehow it
Better
very,
do good in school.
I don't know how, but just we had dinner. A group of us that were down in the SEC meetings in Destin the other couple nights ago, and Katie was there, and her shooting prowess came up, and it was a hot topic of conversation because, like Coach Gates and Coach Drink, they had no idea, so they were peppering her with lots of questions, same ones we were.
It's just something that you don't hear very often. Like you just don't hear about it.
Yeah.
Even like ironically in the Midwest where everybody assumes that's all we do.
Uh,
I have so few friends that do anything but hunt.
yeah,
But with hunting, it's like, well, there's a few different guns you can use, but like that's what you're using.
Yeah.
Like that is like marksmanship.
Yeah.
That
I
is
think-
actually like shooting a target. There's like so much skill involved, and it's a
Yeah.
sport.
I don't know which. I think it was Coach Drink asked if she literally knows the turkey guy. Like they all know each other. Like they're on some text chain.
Do you know him?
Yeah, she does not.
That'd be like asking Coach Drink if he knows Joe Montana.
We
Like,
might.
Do you? I
There's a
mean,
lot of people.
maybe, but probably not. Like, that's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, Katie's awesome. She does a
But
lot,
so-
of,
and
lot of work over there.
She
Great work.
does, and that's just hearing her tell all of her stories. She really does everything. Like every opportunity she has, she gets involved in. If she can educate herself on something to help the student athletes, she does it. It's so cool.
Yeah, and she takes a lot of pride in what our athletes do off the field and what they're going to do after competition. I mean, it's awesome when our guys get drafted in the NFL or the NBA or WNBA or anything like that, but like that's a small minority of our student athletes. And what's the NCAA, like most of us aren't going pro or whatever the catchphrase.
Most of us aren't going
is.
pro in our sports.
Yeah. So she cares a lot about it, and she's a great resource for them, and they recognize that too. It's awesome to see.
So tell us more about these SEC meetings, Dave.
Oh, it was. I was in Destin for all of about 45 hours, but a lot of meetings, a lot of the folks that are in my position, the comms directors of all 16 teams. We have really long meetings, really productive meetings with the comms department for the SEC, and then I'm down there too to help facilitate any interviews because there's a lot of media down there, a lot of national media. They want to talk because it's kind of very very laid back compared to like an SEC media days. Just the setting, you're on the beach, and it's pretty cool place. It's neat to just kind of be around and oh look, there's John Calipari. Oh look, there's Kirby Smart. Just everybody kind of hanging out. I will say though, we had a really nice dinner with our coaches that were down there, Coach Drink, Gates, and Harper, and then President Choi. And Laird Veach, of course, and it was really cool to be around them in that kind of setting where guards down a little bit, just enjoying a nice meal. And I don't know if that's very common in the SEC because I think people are down there together, you're socializing, but to see that kind of chemistry and it's really cool. It's a special group of people, and to see them in that setting and just be a part of it for a short amount of time. Katie and I were both there. It was really cool. It was I felt really good about where we are as a department, when you get to see the people who are at the top of the food chain, for lack of a better term, and just to break bread with them was pretty cool.
I think what's so cool about that is that's just another. I mean, I was not there, but like just hearing the stories and hearing you guys talk, it's one of those things. I can't believe this is what we do for a living.
I know. Yeah.
Like that's my job. Like that. It's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're like, because you were like, oh, let's do podcast this week. I'm down in Destin right now for SEC meetings, but like that's just a normal conversation.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
Like that's just what we're doing, and it's really cool to think too that you're down there and all of the schools are down there. And there's representatives from everyone, and you guys are just professionals having conversations.
Yeah.
Just sharing tricks of the trade and what works best and how we can further the conference as a whole.
Yeah.
That's there's no competition there at that point. It's how can we make this work best for everyone.
Right.
And how can we make it as successful as possible for our schools, but also for our student athletes?
Yeah, and there's some schools that kind of seek the spotlight at those events, and I don't even have to say which ones. You can probably guess. That's not really the MO of our group. And at the end of the day, we all kind of just trade notes. Like, what was your meeting like? Oh, I heard this happened at your meeting. How'd it go? And it's just, it's really good, like camaraderie and chemistry. It was really cool to just be a part of.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not there. I was in Denver playing volleyball.
Yeah, tell us about this.
Yeah, I made it out unscathed.
Yeah, I don't see no injuries, no casts.
Nope, nobody
or
on our team got actually hurt. We got fourth, which was fairly disappointing because we got second last year, but it happens when you get a little bit older. But we had a lot of fun. It's crazy. It's so cool to see, as you get older, the USAV, the governing body for volleyball, they have divisions starting at 40, and so there's like men's and women's. There's 40 plus. There's 45, 50. I mean, we saw there was a video that they posted of the women 65 plus, like the championship game, and I was like, oh god, I want that to be me. Like I want to just still be doing that.
You got a few years.
I have quite a few years, Dave. But that's I tell Dave I tell my husband all the time that I just keep doing these things because if I stop, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it again.
Yeah.
Like I just have to keep moving because then I really will just break down. My PT that I see now, because part of getting older and my, early arthritis that I have in my knee.
Man.
But it was funny because he's like, you probably need to rest. I was like, oh, like, what do you mean by rest? And he just laughs. He's like, maybe do a little less. I was like, I can do that.
Yeah, you also have 3 children running around that you're chasing. That's
but they're
sport
old enough.
in itself.
They're old enough now. It's not, like I don't remember if I told you about this. I was telling some friends that I love I love kids in general. I love little kids. I love babies. Like I love all of them. Like I think it's so fun. But like when we went to Logboat that night, that Dave and I met you there, and just seeing all the people that have to chase around their little toddlers. And thinking, man, I don't ever want to do that again.
Don't miss those
I
days.
do not miss that. I do not want to do that. Like, that sounds awful. So yeah, I have 3 kids that have stuff going on, but I don't need to. Like, I'm not being the same kind of active with them that I had to be.
Well, it's always time for grandkids.
I have quite a few years for that too.
You got a couple years till the 65 division.
Just a couple.
Grandkids are coming up soon.
Says the oldest guy in the room.
About that.
You're all right, Dave.
I'm old. I know.
All right. So,
What
but
else we
Mizzou related, we announced non-conference football start times yesterday.
Yeah.
Kickoff times.
Yeah.
We
knew the 6:30
We knew the
kickoff
6:30.
for our first game
Mm-hmm.
on Thursday night, August 28th. We did find out that Kansas game will be a 2:30
Mhm.
kickoff on ESPN2. And then the third game is our digital game that'll be on SEC Network Plus, ESPN Plus,
Mhm.
that we produce in-house. Every team gets one of those, and you get to, have a say in the time for those. So that one will be at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
exciting.
That's the Hall of Fame game.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
But that 2:30 Kansas game, I feel like that is like the perfect kickoff time for.
Everybody has their opinions.
Selfishly for me.
Everybody has their
Uh,
opinions.
I was gonna say it might be a hot take, but I think that is a perfect kick time for that game.
Yeah. I've
think just-
no complaints.
Many people wanted night.
Yep.
As the resident old lady in the room, obviously I don't hate an 11 a.m. kick just because
Mhm.
then you're done a little bit earlier. Somebody who has to work the games.
Right.
But I also think 2:30 is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
That's good.
It'll be a fun day. And it's going to be here before we know it.
Oh my gosh.
No pressure. Game
Yeah.
day. It'd be great if you came to that
that'd
one
be
too.
so cool. I
Just-
was
let's
reading
just
that
put that out in the
Just
in
speak
the
it into
stratosphere.
existence.
Mhm.
Yep. Let's
Mhm.
just do that.
I'm sure at least one of the game day producers listens to our podcast, so
I would think.
I would
Well,
hope.
Or we just send it to him. Always
We'll
do
just-
that.
Yeah, let's tweet it at
Yeah.
College Game Day.
Just DM Dave. DM Dave Matter, and then we'll get you on the podcast. We'll curry favors.
There you go.
Do that.
All right. Are we out?
I think so. Like Steve said earlier, we're almost summer, so all the prep activities getting ready for fall
Yeah.
have begun.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Our best Mizzou memories have yet to happen. This is Mizzou Storytellers.
I'm Loretta Jones.
I'm Dave Matter.
We'll talk to you next week.